welcome to Power Up with NSA North Texas, a show about finding, hearing, and maximizing valuable insights from some of the world's leading business and lifestyle speakers. Each week, international keynote speaker and National Speakers Association North Texas chapter president Betty Coffey sits down with some of the most exciting speakers this side of the globe to hear from these subject matter experts what's making a difference in business today and learn all there is to know about people, profits, and productivity in business from some of the world's best motivators. This is Power Up with NSA North Texas. And now, here's your host, Betty Coffey.
Hello, everybody. I'm Betty Coffey, the host for Power Up in NSA North Texas and the president for NSA North Texas chapter. And I want to welcome you to our podcast show. NSA, the National Speakers Association, is the premier organization for professional speakers. Our speakers reach audiences every day as humorists, consultants, coaches, trainers, educators, motivators, and we reach companies all around the globe. What's so important about this show is this gives you the opportunity to understand and to hear about some of the cutting-edge topics, the things that organizations, corporations, associations, small and big businesses alike are all thinking about how we can improve upon. And you get the answers from our own subject matter experts here at NSA North Texas. I'm so excited today. My guest is Stu Schlackman. He is fantastic. He's been my friend since 2015. He is a big deal within NSA North Texas chapter. And we're going to hear about something that he is such a pro on, relationship selling. So, what's relationship selling? Selling is both art and science. But you know what? It's more art. Bottom line, people buy from people they like. That's true. We like to hang around and be with people we like, and we develop that trust if we like them. So likability counts much more than ability. Interesting. I like that. That lends me to think about some air conditioning heating guys I had over recently. A person's emotional intelligence is much more important than a person's intelligence quotient, IQ. So we're going to talk about that, but let me tell you about Stu. Stu delivers what businesses want. What do they want? They want results. Using his 35 years of experience in sales and sales management, Stu has developed sales skill programs that deliver sales success. He is the author of Don't Just Stand There, Sell Something, 4 People You Should Know, and the 180 Rule for the Art of Connecting. He is active in the Richardson Chamber of Commerce and was the 2016-17 president for our own National Speakers Association North Texas chapter. He's been a great role model for me and just a tremendous friend. He is also a certified speaking professional, which is one of the top honors. I think only 12% of our speakers have that recognition of a certified speaking professional within National Speakers Association, and he has served on numerous chapter leadership councils. So Stu, I'm so happy you're here today.
Thanks, Betty. Glad to be here again.
Really?
Yeah.
You were our very, very first guest.
Yeah.
You took the plunge.
Yes.
And you were fantastic. So
well, thanks.
I've asked Stu to come back because relationship selling is what we do every day, not just in our professional lives, but also our personal lives. So let's dive right into it.
Sure.
You call yourself the relationship selling expert. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, because sales is all about relationships.
It's true.
If you want to buy something without a relationship, buy on Amazon. Because you don't have a relationship there. But think about it. If you're going to work with a salesperson, you want to work with someone you trust and somebody you like. That's what it's all about.
That's right.
So it's building long-term relationships. And it's an art. There's a lot to that.
I believe that.
Yeah.
I believe, and it never stops, right?
Right.
And we can
right.
keep getting better at it.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so in one of your books, 4 People You Should Know,
Yes.
the top six business skills are discussed.
Yeah.
Tell me about those. What are those?
Well, this came out in 2006. I was at a signature luncheon in Richardson, and Dr. Michael Cox was talking about the top 6 most needed business skills, and it blew me away, so much so that I put it on the first page of my book, 4 People You Should Know.
Okay.
And he said this, the number 6 business skill, and this is a business skill, is muscle power.
Muscle power.
Heavy lifting, construction.
Really?
Yeah. Number 5 takes that a step further, which is dexterity, using your hands, typing, putting together an integrated circuit,
Okay.
hammering
okay.
a nail.
Right.
These two are done by muscle memory. You don't have to have formal education for that. But number 4 is formulaic intelligence, which is left brain learning. You got to go to school for that, plugging numbers into formulas to get results. Number 3 is analytical reasoning,
Okay.
looking at a set of numbers and trying to predict the future, like a stock. So number 4 and 3 are what we call left brain learning skills.
Okay. I got you.
But number 2 is creativity and imagination. Now, what sets the great companies apart? Number 2, which is companies like Google, Apple, eBay, Disney. I mean, these are the great companies that use creativity and imagination. But the number one skill needed in the business world today is people skills and emotional intelligence.
Still.
Yes.
Tell me it's still.
Always.
That's so important.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah.
I totally agree. So it's what. So number 1 is how you get along with people,
Yep.
how you develop that relationship,
Yep.
and developing trust.
So EQ, the emotional quotient, counts more than IQ, the intelligence quotient, unless you're a rocket scientist. Yeah.
Okay.
And likability counts more than ability, unless think about a surgeon.
Right. Right.
Think about their likability. Typically, it's
Not real
not
hot.
much. Yeah, it's not
Sorry,
much.
surgeons out there, but
Yeah.
yes.
But they just get to the facts. Just the facts, ma'am, like Sergeant Friday. But people skills and emotional intelligence is an art. It's all about connection. That's key in selling.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
I know that you are an expert on different personality styles, and I know that you're going to get into that. So
Yeah.
let's talk about that. But I'm curious about emotional intelligence
Yeah.
and how emotional intelligence plays into personality styles.
Yeah. Well, here's the definition of emotional intelligence by Daniel Goleman, who's the guru on it. It's the abilities to recognize and regulate the emotions in ourselves and others. Easy to do? No, it's the most difficult thing in the world to do. We all have friends, 30 years we've known them,
Right.
and they still drive us crazy at times because they're a different personality style. But emotional intelligence, as Travis Bradbury says in his book Emotional Intelligence 2.0, there are 4 parts of it. First one is self-awareness. Are you aware of your strengths and weaknesses?
And how I come across to others, right?
We're speakers. We love to speak. The problem is number 2, self-management. Sometimes we don't know when to shut up.
True.
So we need to understand and manage our strengths and weaknesses. The third one Travis talks about is social awareness, which is empathy, understanding and putting ourselves in the shoes of the other person we're with, the client. And the last one is relationship management, which is building a relationship over a long period of time and connecting with them on what's most important to them, not me.
I love those ideas. Let me ask you a question. What was the one before the last one you just mentioned?
Social awareness.
Social awareness. So that means that when we're working with someone, whether it's a sales relationship, customer service relationship, whatever it is, and we got the end goal in mind. We want to have it a win-win.
Yeah.
We cannot push that idea on somebody else. We have to understand their personality, how they're going to think about this, and then have the guts to change ours a little bit, our approach,
Right.
to mix with theirs, right? And we just don't
Exactly.
think about that.
We don't. And here's a great example. You have extroverts and introverts. Daniel Goleman says, Daniel Pink says this in To Sell is Human. Extroverts sell 5 to 7% more than introverts. But ambiverts sell 40% more than extroverts. What's an ambivert?
Yeah, what's that?
It's a person that could switch on and off. If you're an introvert, I'm going to become an introvert. If you're an extrovert, I'm going to become an extrovert.
So you become an ambivert.
Right.
Oh, that's that. I never knew that.
And that's the connection. Because think about this, if you're an introvert and I'm an extrovert, and I'm loud and fast and you're quiet and soft-spoken.
It's going to be overwhelming.
Yeah, and vice versa. So we have to modify our behavior to connect with the other person.
And we got to be patient with that.
Right.
We have to not only understand how we come across, but be patient with it and be that ambivert. I like that word. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
And today, as you mentioned when you were talking about Amazon, everything is so technology oriented. And
Yes.
I go out and buy my stuff off of Amazon. There's no relationship there.
Right.
As long as they're efficient, I'm happy. I don't have to call customer service. I'm
Right.
a happy camper. But we get too used to that, don't we?
Yes. It's convenience, it's 2-day shipping, it's free shipping. But what if you need advice? What if you want to buy something complicated or detailed?
Good luck.
Yeah, I mean, there's no advice there. That's why everything is cheap.
Yeah.
And, I just got a golf shirt for Father's Day from my daughter. And, when you get the shirt, you hope it's the material you thought it was going to be.
Right, because
Yeah.
you couldn't check it out beforehand. There was nobody,
Right.
if you had a question, you couldn't ask it.
Right. You just don't know sometimes. Yeah.
You get a lot of things. What bugs me is when I get things from them. This is not about Amazon, but I didn't have a chance to really check it out enough, and I get something in the mail that I really didn't want, but I'm stuck with it. So
Right.
that whole relationship
Yeah,
isn't there.
it's painful to return it sometimes. And, for whatever it costs, I'll just keep it.
How can we, if let's say we're an extrovert personality, really calm ourselves down and get out of our world
Right.
and try to understand another person and relate to them the way that they're going to be comfortable with us? And
Excellent.
how do you do that? Are there
They
steps you take to do
Yes. First of all, we can't control our emotions. Emotions happen, but we could control our self-talk.
that? Okay.
We need to talk to ourselves, calm ourselves down. The number one attribute and skill or characteristic of a salesperson is confidence.
Is that the most important sales skill?
Yes.
Confidence.
Confidence. You have to exude confidence to your client for them to trust you and to do business with you. And a lot of the confidence comes from what we say to ourselves, our self-talk.
Okay. All right. So that
Yeah.
makes sense. So I know that before I enter a room, no matter how I feel or whatever, I self-talk and I say, Betty, pump it up.
Yeah.
And smile, because
Right.
people love it when you smile.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah.
walk in there and smile, and you've got it under control. So that's
Yeah.
a little self-talk. You could also say, okay, I've done a little bit of homework on this client I'm going to go see. I've got an idea what they're like, what their personality style is. Now, I want to talk to myself, Betty, cool it.
Yeah.
Come, listen more.
Yeah.
Don't talk as much. Find out what's important to them and what their goals are.
There's a balance in confidence because you don't want to come across overconfident.
This is true.
So there needs to be a touch of humility,
Yes.
but you're sure of what you're doing and what you're saying. And that comes across to the client, and then it's believability.
Okay, so confidence,
Yeah.
and then believability.
Yeah,
Believability, you gotta know what you're talking about,
yeah,
and then be able to persuade the other person to
exactly,
understand
exactly.
that. Gotcha. Where do most people? So those are our most important sales skills. Where do most salespeople fall short?
They fall short in listening. They fall short in questioning skills. Here's the problem with most salespeople, my opinion, is if you want to connect with a client, you have to have a real conversation. And a real conversation is a balance of talking and listening. You know what they say that the opposite of listening is?
What?
It's not talking, it's waiting. Most salespeople are not listening. They're formulating in their mind what they want to say. So they're waiting for their turn to talk, and they're not really listening.
That's true.
Yeah.
They're thinking about what they want to say. They're really not listening. It's just, when do I get to talk again?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's true. That's the situation with many of us.
Yeah. So we need to build a real conversation for connection. And that's what relationship selling is all about.
And that is the best type of selling.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how you make it.
Yeah.
So what do clients want from their salespeople? What do clients really, really want?
They want, first of all, a great salesperson sets real expectations. What expectations do you set with your clients when it comes to how we're going to communicate, how often we're going to communicate, how I'm going to deliver results, my response time, my service, my hustle, and putting the customer first. Not putting me first and what I want.
Right.
It's putting the customer first and their needs and understanding the needs and being curious about what's most important to them. The question I love to ask a customer first thing is, when it comes to looking to purchase whatever it is, what's most important to you? And what problems are we trying to solve for them? And a lot of times pain sells more than gain. We're there to solve problems because that's what customers want, to alleviate the problems they have.
So we need to understand what the problems they have.
Exactly.
Understand where their pain points are.
Yep.
And take time out in those early days when you're developing that relationship so that they understand that you've got their back.
Exactly.
Yeah. That makes so much difference.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
I experienced that hand-on recently when I had to have some home repairs done.
Yeah.
And these are things that I'm not the best person on gutters. I'm not the best person on windows and why
Right.
they're leaking. And I had to, when I was dealing with all these contractors coming over, it was like, who do I trust? And
Right.
which are the guys that really take the time with me to understand? I get to show them where the things are leaking and all that. And they really took their time. Those were the ones that were developed their relationship right off the bat.
Yeah.
Yeah, to say nothing about playing with the puppy Molly.
Yeah.
Oh, if you play with the puppy, you got me. So tell me about communication skills in general.
Communication skills, we have to understand there are two types of people. There are people that prefer to do the talking and people that prefer to do the asking. So when it comes to communication skills, it's a balance of give and take. And you need to understand if you're with a person that likes to ask a lot of questions, or they like to do a lot of talking. And we need to adapt to their style and give them what they want more than I'm getting what I want. So in communication skills, I do an exercise, and the exercise is I put 21 words up on a PowerPoint slide, and I'll tell each of the 4 personalities, write down the top 6 words that best describe your communication style. So are you energetic, optimistic? Are you sociable, open, genuine? Or are you factual, detailed, logical, skeptical, controlled? How are you? We need to understand that all 4 styles communicate differently. And we need to understand who they are and adapt to their style so they're more comfortable and the conversation will flow a lot easier. So that's what we have to do with communication skills. It's probably the number one asset of a salesperson is how they communicate. Remember, it's not about questioning skills are very important, but you don't want it to be an interrogation.
Right.
You want it to be a conversation that's natural.
Exactly. That's natural and real.
Yeah.
Real.
Yeah.
You know, I've known you and I so admire you because Stu
Thanks.
really speaks and he's a specialist in different areas, not just relationship selling, but also in helping organizations. He works with a lot of different organizations and corporations to help them develop their personality styles, to understand each other, to work together better. And there's a real technique and a philosophy and a science that you've built up that is very popular among many corporations out there. And then also the relationship of sales and how the relationships in general and how it works. So what you also do sales training.
Yeah.
So in your opinion, what are the most important topics that salespeople need to be trained on?
Well,
Where are we missing the...
Mark Hunter brings up one very important one, and so does Jeb Blount, which is prospecting. You know, You could be the greatest salesperson in the world, and you love to be in front of customers, but if you can't get in front of a customer, you're not that good.
It's true.
You have to learn how to prospect by showing value and showing what you've done for other clients and the problems that you solve. So prospecting is a critical skill. The other one is questioning skills. And like I said, a balance in a conversation on asking questions naturally and being inquisitive and curious and really caring about understanding the client's needs and who they are and what they're trying to accomplish. So prospecting skills, questioning skills are important, understanding personality, because here's the thing. If you want to improve your emotional intelligence, you need to understand personality styles.
That's right.
Because then it opens up a new dimension to the way I will connect with someone that's not like me. Like I said, are you serious or sociable? Would you rather talk or ask questions? Are you detailed or big picture? You know, are you do it right, or like Nike says, just do it?
This is true.
Yeah,
This
we're
is
all
true.
different,
Yes,
and we
yes.
have to understand how we're different.
I understand that. Okay, so when a salesperson's out there and they're talking about their product or their service, what's the difference? Sometimes I get kind of confused with this. What's the difference between features, functions, and benefits? Because they spill them out, and it's all over the board, and it's like, oh, I got confused on that. So tell me what the difference is when you're in sales, when you're talking about features, functions, and benefits.
Features are characteristics of a product. I'm wearing an Apple iWatch. What are some features? It tells time, digital. It gives me my calories, my steps, how many minutes I walked, how many hours I've stood. It's black, it's light. Now, what are the features? The functions are, well, you know, it has an alarm, so it gets me up when I want to get up. It's plastic, so it's light, so it's comfortable. But a lot of salespeople will spend a lot of time on features and functions, but it's benefits that count.
Yeah, they can get really deep into the features and functions almost over my head.
Right.
Just say something that's going to
Yeah.
be important to me.
Benefits
That's right.
meet the needs of the customer.
Okay.
So I use a formula that value equals benefits minus cost. In other words, if the benefits exceed the cost, you have great value. So it's all about value. People buy what they value. So, and benefits meet the needs. Features and functions do not meet needs. Unless, of course, if I have a need to buy an Apple Watch, and one of the most important things is it tracks my calories and gets me up at 6 a.m.,
There you go.
then that now becomes a benefit.
There you go.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So it's benefits that count more than anything else to a client.
And that's, once again, personalized to the client, personalized to what their needs, and you got to find out. You got to develop that relationship to find out.
Exactly.
Makes sense. See, I'm learning something.
Yeah.
Stu. So we've already talked about, do you want to expand at all as far as what clients really want in a sales professional? We talked about that a little bit, but they really want, speak to me the value of trust.
Trust is everything. Trust is a combination of integrity, honesty, and humility. Trust is being predictable. Trust is coming through every time. Trust is saying, I don't know the answer, I'll get back to you. Trust is saying, I made a big mistake and I'm sorry, I'm going to make up for it.
Yes.
You don't need the customer to tell you made a mistake. You need to be proactive and say, I blew it here. I need to correct this. And that's happened to me in the past with clients, but I've been proactive on correcting it.
And you come out and you own that, and the client is going to understand because we're all human. And oh my gosh, you've got them.
Exactly.
I love that. I love
exactly.
that. That's so true. That doesn't happen that often.
No.
But you're
No.
exactly right.
Yeah.
So, Stu, talk to our audience out there. I know Stu. He's a phenomenal professional speaker, a CSP. He's high in demand. The guy travels a lot. You travel internationally. You're giving speeches and keynotes, and you do your own training workshops, and you have sales training programs and everything. What's it like? Who are your typical clients, and what's it like when they reach out and they want to work with you? Tell me what you're like.
I like to make each client look like they're my only client.
Oh,
No,
I
really.
love the way you put that.
I
That's
love,
so true.
I have to customize and tailor every training to their language, their industry, their company. So I want to understand everything. I will do all the work up front with them to understand their challenges, to understand their language, their obstacles, and just the culture of the company, and work with that. And I love doing that. I mean, there's nothing more, significant than working with a company that you could transform their sales team.
That's wonderful.
And they appreciate it. That's why I love doing it.
But you put a lot into it. You
Yeah.
put a lot of
Yeah.
heart, sweat, soul, blood, sweat, tears,
Yeah.
everything because you care.
Yeah, I love it.
And you customize it to the client.
The customer always comes first.
Yes,
No doubt about it.
that's true.
It's not about the money. It's about the impact. The money comes, that's secondary. It's not even important.
It's the fact you want to leave an impact.
Right. That's it.
That's you.
More than anything else.
And that is Stu Schlackman. It truly is. Okay, tell me about your books. You've got a couple books that you brought, so talk to us about your books.
Okay, well, the first one, Don't Just Stand There, Sell Something, came out in 2003. And it's really geared towards sales management and leadership. And what are the skills that you need? My favorite chapter is chapter 2 on attitude. Because attitude will determine your altitude, like Zig Ziglar says.
Yes.
Attitude is more important than aptitude. And I talk about, planning, strategic planning, just the nuggets that are needed for sales and sales management. So that came out years ago. But it was the second book that is where I spend most of my time, which is 4 People You Should Know. And that's my book on personality styles and understanding the gold, green, blue, and orange, how they buy, how they sell, how they work together in a team, how they handle customer service, how they handle conflict and leadership.
It's true.
So that's where I spend most of my time. That's the foundation of everything I do when it comes to sales training.
And I've seen you. I've seen you in action when he's talking about 4 people you should know. He has the audience absolutely mesmerized with this because all of a sudden you go, well, am I green, gold, blue or orange? And oh my God, it's right on.
Yeah.
It truly, truly is right on.
It really is.
People like to know that. And again, once you know your color and you know the client's color, you can accommodate using emotional intelligence and building that relationship to have a win-win relationship.
Yeah.
Oh, it all comes I love it when things come together. Okay, so how can our audience get your books?
Well, if you go to my website, StuSchlackman.com.
Okay, so Schlackman, for our people that are just listening,
It's STU and then SCHLACKMAN.
Gotcha.
And so you could buy it on my website, or, of course, you could go to Amazon. Either one.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
And contact information. If people want to reach out and contact you, what's your email?
Stu, STU, at StuSchlackman.com.
Okay, and website?
Website, StuSchlackman.com. And my mobile phone is 214-435-9758. And whenever I work with a client, they have my contact information, including my cell phone number. And I say you could call me or email me any time of the week.
I love that.
Yeah.
He's real. He's real. Also, if people go out to your website, www.stuschlackman, SCHLACKMAN.com, there are over 100 videos out there.
Yeah.
And articles and sales tips and everything else that are short, 90-second deals, but will give you a tremendous amount of information, right?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Stu, this has been so good.
Yeah.
I love you, my friend.
Same
you
here.
You are he's a phenomenal mentor. I used to tell people, if there's something you don't like about Betty, blame Stu.
Yeah.
So, but he's been he's a good guy and he's real. He's authentic. So if you want to leave our audience today with something to remember that's important for them to remember today after this show, what is it?
I would say this. When I meet someone for the first time, I ask myself this: who am I with, and what do they want? I take the focus off of myself and put it entirely onto them. What's most important to my client so they're successful? And if I could have that attitude and that view every time, you can't go wrong.
I love it. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you so
Thanks,
much.
Betty.
It's been so much fun having you on the show.
Love it.
Love you. Thank you
Love
very,
you.
very much for being here. And all of you, please come on back to power up, to be better, to be faster, to be stronger. That's what it's all about. Stu, you've been fantastic.
Thanks, Betty.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
High five. There we go.
Yeah.
We're on.
Excellent.
Yes, let's go develop some relationships out there.
Yeah.
Sell, sell, sell.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to Power Up with NSA North Texas. To find out more about today's guest or NSA North Texas, visit www.speaker.org. To find out more about Power Up, visit our Facebook page at www.facebook.com/groups/NSA North Texas. And to find out more about Betty, visit www.bettycoffeepresents.com.